Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. Today I am bringing you a very premature TBR. I'm taking part in the Books in the Freezer Readathon, which I'm really excited about, and although it's not for weeks and weeks, I just kind of want to get my ideas out there and get cracking, so I'm really excited. So for those of you who don't know, the Books in the Freezer Readathon is basically a horror readathon, and it is run by the guys whose names I don't remember. That's what she read. Yeah, they do a podcast, a Books in the Freezer podcast, which I'm on, to be honest, I'd not heard about, but I'm really excited about it. I love a bit of horror, and I think that October is a really good time to read some horror books, so it's a really good idea. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary of the podcast by having a readathon, and I want more people to join in, so I'm doing this video now in the hope that it will spread awareness, because I never find out about readathons until it's too late, so I'm hoping that this will help other people find out about it before it's too late. The readathon runs from the 1st of October to the 14th of October. Straight away I love it because it's over 2 weeks, and they did say in the video, which I will link to below, that one of the things they wanted to do with their readathon was to make it less pressured, to make it more sort of inclusive and something everybody could take part in. So having a 2-week readathon is great. They also only have 5 challenges, which again I just love, and they're all quite straightforward and simple. And I loved, another thing I really loved, there's so many things I love, is that all of their challenges can be met by books that have been talked about on their podcast. So if you're looking for ideas, they have released videos, but then also listening to the podcast will give you more. So anyway, I'm going to tell you what I'm reading. The first challenge is to read a horror book by a female author, and for this I chose The In-Between by Marina Cohen. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but I feel I probably should have said already, but I'll mention now that I've kind of gone for a middle grade horror theme to my readathon, because I know that I suck at readathons. I know I don't have a lot of time to read as much as I would like to during the week, but I felt that middle grade was a way that made it more accessible to me, and it also means that then the books I can then give to the classroom, and that is sort of 2 birds with 1 stone really. Easier reads for me to read in a readathon, and also I can then donate them and get the children reading more. And it's a perfect time to add horror books to my class. It basically follows a story of a young girl and her friend. They go on a trip, and while they're there, it says soon Kara's parents and brother mysteriously disappear. The girls are left alone to navigate, and it kind of has a Shining vibe. I'm hoping it's not quite that intense, but I'm really looking forward to reading some middle grade horror, because I think it'll be good to be completely creeped out without being absolutely terrified, to be honest, because I get terrified easy. The second challenge is an anthology or a short story collection, and I found this one more difficult, but as soon as I found this book I knew it was the one for me, and that is Through the Woods, which is stories by Emily Carroll. It's worth saying right from the get-go that when I saw this and I saw there was a short story collection of middle grade horror, it was just perfect. Then when it arrived, the cover is beautiful. I don't think that it will really be able to see through it, but it's a real tactile cover. It's real, you just have to touch it all the time. And then I found out that it's actually told in graphic novel format, and I just thought, this book is incredible, and I'm really excited not just to read it, but to have it in my classroom as well. And it was mentioned by Stephanie, and she says amazing things about it, so I'm really excited to read this. So the third challenge is to read a book either by or about either a queer person or a person of colour. This was one that I found difficult to research, to be honest, because it's not something you can just put into Google and it finds the books for you. But anyway, I found one. I found this book, and I got it on my Kindle because that was the cheapest way by far, and it's called The Jumbies. You read about it on Amazon. It says, a spine-tingling tale rooted in Caribbean folklore about an ordinary girl who misused her extraordinary bravery and a bit of magic to save her island home from the Jumbies. Sounds great. Looking forward to that one. Then, number 4, the 4th challenge was to read a book with a movie adaptation. I don't have a copy of this because I'm not well prepared, but I'm planning to read Coraline by Neil Gaiman. There is a copy of this in the school library that I bought a while ago, and I hope it's still there, otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to get it from somewhere else. I listened to it recently on an audiobook, but didn't really get into it because I'm not so good with audiobooks, and it's something that half-heartedly get into every so often, and I need to finally get around to reading, so I decided this was a great time to do it. The fifth challenge was to read a book which was recommended on the podcast. Now, because I've restricted myself to middle grade books, I found this quite difficult. I did go on and have a look, and there were some YA, but nothing that struck me as middle grade, and I thought, I don't want to force myself to read something that doesn't really fit with what I'm doing. So instead, I just picked something else random. When I was researching middle grade horror books, there were loads of recommendations and things that just got me excited, and this was one that I just couldn't resist. So I've bought the first book. It's called Amulet by Kazu Kibuishi? I don't know. But anyway, it's book one, The Stonekeeper. It's a series, but it's also a graphic novel, which is awesome. And it says, there's something strange behind the basement door. After a family tragedy, Emily, Navin and their mother moved to an ancestral home to start a new life. But basically it's a creepy old house. So is it in Coraline as well. I am going to be thoroughly creeped out this October. Those are the books, all those, which I'm planning to read as part of Books in the Freezer Readathon. I'm really hoping that by putting my TBR out there quite early, more people will be aware of it, and that might encourage more people to get involved. If you are, then let me know. I'd love to come and check out your videos and see what books you are reading. And I'm really looking forward to reading a bunch of creepy books. I might have to have a look at my shelves and try and tick off some more creepy books later in October, the sort of more adulty ones as well, because that would be cool. If you know any more middle grade horror which isn't on this list, let me know too, because, you know, there's tons out there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.